Arkham Asylum was actually a supervillain by night who had the fear pheromones in a powder, sort of in an aerosol powder type capacity. I found that to be quite fascinating. I thought that Cillian Murphy was terrific as the Scarecrow. He even made a cameo appearance in The Dark Knight at the beginning, but he was captured by Batman. Now, of course, after what happened in The Dark Knight, where Batman said he was willing to take the heat for all the murders Two-Face committed, or Harvey Dent committed, now he's going to be on the run. They're going to hunt him. They're going to hunt him. The police have to hunt him now because he's decided to take the heat for all the murders that were committed. So it'll be interesting to see how Bane plays into that. Because Gotham PD is going to hunt and arrest the Batman on sight if they catch him. And that's the whole key. Can they capture the Batman? And could it possibly be that maybe the mayor of Gotham City will use Bane to capture Batman? I don't know where this is going to go. I really don't know where this is going to go. Again, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And will Bane break the bat like he did in the comic books? One thing that happened in the comic books was Bane actually released all the inmates of Arkham Asylum, and then Batman had to go retrieve every single one of them. He had to go recapture every single inmate out of Arkham. And then finally, when he was just absolutely exhausted from doing that, that's when Bane struck. That was when Bane struck him at Wayne Manor, at his most vulnerable. Batman was absolutely exhausted by the time he got all the inmates back to Arkham Asylum. Well, actually, they weren't put back at Arkham Asylum because Arkham was hanging open because the walls had been blown out. I think they put them in Blackgate Prison temporarily, which is the Gotham City prison, sort of their version of Rikers Island, I guess, for New York City. But yeah, Batman was just, in the comic books, after Bane released every single inmate from Arkham Asylum, Batman had to go recapture them. By the time he was finished doing all that, he was just exhausted and in no shape to fight. He was in no shape to fight. If I remember correctly, that was issue Batman number 492 or 493 when Bane finally caught up with him and broke him, literally broke his back. And that was one of the best story arcs in comic book history, I thought. One of the best story arcs ever was the breaking of the bat, Nightfall. Then the follow-up was Night Quest, where Bruce Wayne had to retrain himself and return as Batman. And eventually he fought Azrael as Batman, regained the mantle of the Bat. Actually, if I remember correctly, Dick Grayson, who was Nightwing at that point, stepped in as Batman to sort of clean up the mess that Jean-Paul Valley's Batman was leaving in Gotham City. So there were a few times during that whole period where Dick Grayson was actually Batman. Of course, Dick Grayson was the original Robin. And I realize I'm ranting, and I realize I'm going on a rant, but I mean, I'm just kind of going over some basic history of Bane and how he came about in the comic book, and how he may play into The Dark Knight Rises. I mean, it may get to where, you know, the Gotham City Police Department can't catch Batman, cannot capture him. So maybe the mayor gets desperate. He finds out about this guy Bane. He brings him in, says, you know, I need you to capture the Batman for me. That may be where that storyline is going. I'm not really sure. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out in the movie, because I don't think Nolan is going to make Bane a big dumb thug. He's going to make him intelligent. I mean, because I think Nolan got Ra's al Ghul right. He got the Scarecrow right. He got the Joker right. He got Two-Face right, in my opinion. He really, I mean, he did a heck of a job with Joker and Two-Face especially, and Ra's al Ghul and the Scarecrow. So I think he's going to do Bane right. You know, Nolan's a heck of a filmmaker. I mean, he did a great job on Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and I think he's going to really do a great job with Dark Knight Rises. And Christian Bale is actually interested in perhaps playing Batman a fourth time in a movie after Nolan finishes this trilogy, for another director, of course. So we may see Christian Bale one more time donning the cape and cowl, but not for Christopher Nolan. Nolan is only doing a trilogy. He's done Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Now he's about to, you know, start on The Dark Knight Rises, which will actually begin shooting in May. So, but anyway, that's just a little tidbit about the upcoming Dark Knight Rises, and just kind of some things to look out, to be aware of and look out for. And it should be a great movie. I mean, it should be just as good as Batman Begins and The Dark Knight were. And I'm a big time Bat fan. I'm a long time Bat fan. I love the Batman. I love it when it's done right. And Christopher Nolan has not done it wrong yet. He has not made one wrong move with his characterization of Batman. I don't think he's going to make a wrong move now. I'm looking forward to his interpretation of Bane and also of Selina Kyle, because again, he got the other characters right. He got Lucius Fox. I thought it was interesting that he made Lucius Fox kind of Batman's Q. For those of you who are not familiar with Q, that was sort of the techie guru for James Bond. So Morgan Freeman's character of Lucius Fox is kind of the Q for Batman. Not to mention he's the CEO of Wayne Enterprises. But and I love Gary Oldman's portrayal of Gordon, of Lieutenant then Commissioner Gordon. And of course, Michael Caine as Alfred is really great. He has that sardonic sense of humor, much like Alfred in the comic books. Anybody who's familiar with Alfred from the comic books knows about his sardonic sense of humor, and his sort of where he just kind of plays off of Bruce Wayne and Batman in the comics. And Michael Caine does a really great job playing off of Christian Bale. Again, as does Gary Oldman as Gordon. I think he's great as Gordon. And also Morgan Freeman as Lucius Fox as well. So, of course, I'm a big Morgan Freeman fan anyway. I like Morgan. I've always liked Morgan. I've liked Morgan Freeman for a long time. So I mean, I think he was a perfect choice to play Lucius Fox. I really do. And he's going to be. They're all going to be back in Dark Knight Rises, by the way. Gordon, played by Gary Oldman, Alfred, Michael Caine, and Lucius Fox, Morgan Freeman. They're all going to be back in Dark Knight Rises. I didn't know if Morgan was going to be back, because after the Dark Knight, he said, consider this my resignation. But apparently, yeah, they are going to bring him back. They're going to bring Lucius Fox back, so I think it's great. So be looking out for The Dark Knight Rises, July 20th, 2012.